Welcome to the Counselor tutorial for creating a new patient. There are two primary methods for creating new patients within Counselor. The first is done underneath the Patients tab in the top menu bar. The second can be done through the schedule. We'll start with the first option. Under Patients, go ahead and select New Patient under Manage Patients. This will take you to a screen where you can go ahead and enter either the minimum information, which would be first name, last name, and date of birth, or as much as you like. There are different fields, of course, you can enter either at this point or later on. So we're going to start here by just adding some basic information. You can put, as I mentioned, first name, last name, and date of birth. You can use the calendar feature, or you can type it in directly as well. Now, it's important to know if you do enter it manually, you want to enter a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and a 4-digit year. Okay. Once again, like I said, you can add as much as you like. So if you want to add gender or patient status, you certainly can change it at this point. You can add additional contact information at this point. So if you wanted to put in, say, their phone number, if you want to add an email address, you certainly could. You can put a mailing address as well, or that could be done later. So let's hold off on this, and I'll show you where you can add that in just a moment. You also can add in demographic information, so great deal of options. Now, there is a save button at the bottom of the screen. It's the same save button whether you're on the demographics, whether you're on the contact, or the general tab. So go ahead and enter everything you want for these three tabs, and then on one of them, go ahead and click Save, and that will lock in all the new information you've entered, and it will take you directly to this patient's newly created profile. So now we're in Dale's profile. We can continue right on, right? So if you, like I said, just entered the basic information and wish to do additional updates in this screen, you certainly can. In that example here, we can see with the phone number, mailing address, and now we want to go ahead and enter the mailing address, right? So that could be done on the fly. So very easy to get the middle information in and then continue. If you're entering patients in a rapid fire fashion, you can get the basic info and come back to these later, certainly. One thing you may have noticed is as I entered the address, it did automatically update. Counselor looks out to the US Postal Service database, it cleans up the address, and it adds the zip +4 automatically. So if as you're typing a mailing address and you enter the state and you see things reconfigure, that's because Counselor is looking at the preferred formatting for that specific address. All right, once you've made any changes here, just like we saw on the last screen, you do want to make sure you click Save to lock in those changes. All right, so that's the first method for adding new patients underneath the Patients dropdown on New Patient. The second method is through the schedule. So this is through the general process of while you're creating an appointment. So what we'll do is we'll just jump to the schedule here, and we'll say a patient wants an appointment for this afternoon. Now, you have two options here when you're creating appointments. You can schedule for an existing patient just by typing in their name and seeing the list of patients that match and selecting them. However, if you believe this is a new patient, you would go ahead and choose the Quick Add feature. This is going to give you the ability to not only schedule the appointment, but create the patient profile simultaneously. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and put in a very quick name, first name, last name, and date of birth once again. All right, so go ahead and enter that. Phone number will auto format, and once again, as you're typing it, and let's go ahead and add an email address. Now, the email address is optional, but great to have, right? So whenever you can get it. Now, in creating an appointment, of course, you do need to select the appointment type, and depending on the settings for that appointment type, you may or may not need a referral type, right? So that's going to be up to you. All right, of course, there are more fields here, but we're going to focus just on the new patient profile creation. So I'm going to go ahead and click Save. What we're going to see is that Counselor will first off check to see if there are any duplicate patients in the database. This would happen through the schedule as well as the process we saw before, where we just went under patients and created a new patient. So look to see if there are any duplicates. If there are, it will alert you, and then you can see like, oh, that's a truly distinct different patient. Let's proceed. Or no, that's actually the profile that I'm looking for. Let's stop what I'm doing and go to that profile, right? But here you can see there was no duplicate in the system, so we went ahead and Counselor automatically took you to this patient's profile screen where you have those same options once again to update the information for this patient, add more. Once again, these first three tabs, you can add as much as you want to these first three tabs and then go ahead and click Save at the bottom. Okay. You, of course, can then move on to adding more information, but this is the initial process for creating that patient profile. Either way, we want this to be a very smooth process. If you have any questions about this, please let us know. Give us a call, email us, live chat us. We are always happy to help. Thank you so very much for joining us for the Counselor tutorial on creating a new patient profile.